Hi, everyone. Welcome to Beacons of Balance. It's about balance. And this is our last episode for the January episode. And we're so honored today to have our first official guest speaker, which is Lynette Turner. Lynette lives in, as you can tell from her background, she lives in Arizona. Linda's in California. I'm in Connecticut with the snow.
She's got snow.
Yeah. Lynette studied with world-renowned teacher and author Robert Moss, and she is a certified dream teacher with the Robert Moss School of Active Dreaming.
May we ask real quick before we get into the formal questions, what made you decide that was your forte?
Sure. I'll say welcome everyone. Hi, nice to see you. Thanks for having me here today. I'll say that this started when I was quite young, when I was in 8th grade up in Alaska, where I grew up. My grandmother, who lived in Baltimore, Maryland, passed away. And I remember like it was yesterday. I remember what I was wearing, what I was doing when the phone rang. And before they even answered the phone, I knew it was about my grandmother and I knew that something was wrong. She passed away. Not long after that, I had this dream. And in the dream, my grandmother was there and there was an angel there. And they were giving me all of these messages to give to my mother. And I remember I woke up the next day and I was like, oh, I woke up and I was like, whoa, what, what was that? But I remembered it so clearly. And I remember going to my mother and saying, I don't want to freak you out. I don't want to scare you, but Grandma Louise came through and she had all these messages for you. Are you interested in hearing them? And she said yes. And this is pretty good. My mother's kind of fear-based, so she always said to skip a generation because her grandmother, her mother, my grandmother could kind of see things in the future and connect with people. But my mom's like, no, but she wanted to hear it. So I told her all of these messages, and you guys, they made no sense whatsoever to me and complete sense to my mom. So I knew from
That's
then
something.
that this was real. And I was a kid still. I didn't talk about it to many people. I didn't, I listened and talked to angels and all these other things, but because who could I talk to then? There really wasn't anybody.
Exactly.
You get older and you connect with other people, like Arlene and I've known each other forever, through the angel work. And so I just believed and trusted in it from an early age, and then it just has grown. And now I don't even question it. So when I came upon the opportunity to study with Robert Moss, who, I was looking for someone to study with, and all these signs and things kept coming up to connect with him. And then, oh my gosh, he was located in the same area, the same state that I was in. He's from Australia, but he lives in upstate New York. And so it was an amazing opportunity. And it was like a 3-year program to become certified. And, to me, the coolest thing about dreams is the best person to interpret your dreams is yourself. But there are things you can do, questions that we can ask to help people prompt to do that. And there's a lot of power in that because people just don't feel empowered. That's why they come to us, all of us,
Right.
for guidance or information, and we can certainly help. But I'm like, you know what? You really know that dream better than I do. But based on my training, based on my instincts, I'm happy to give you some guidance that can help you to
Thank you.
understand your dreams. Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
for asking that question. Yeah,
Does everyone dream?
they do.
I get a lot of people saying, I don't dream. Oh, yeah, you do.
Yeah, definitely people do. They might not remember the dreams, but everyone does dream. And, there's a number of reasons why people might not remember their dreams. People that have insomnia, because you remember your dreams best when you get to the 4th level of sleeping, REM, the REM, that's the deepest sleep, which is sometimes if you do fall into a deep sleep and then the alarm goes off in the morning, you're like jolted,
Yes.
jolted awake. But if you have insomnia, there's certain kind of drugs, if you're taking like certain antidepressants, if you have sleep apnea, things that don't let you get into that deep phase can cause you to not remember your dreams. And then sometimes people do remember it or just tidbits, but then they don't trust it. So they wake up and go, well, that doesn't make sense to me. Or that I'm like, no. Write it down, write it down. It's definitely gonna make sense to you. So yeah, everyone does dream. I remember my parents who are older. My dad just had his 91st birthday yesterday, which is awesome. And we're all here together in Arizona. But I remember many years ago, he was claiming that my mom and dad were claiming that they didn't dream. And I had them come to a dream workshop because I was up in Alaska. When I travel around, I do them. And I told them these techniques and everything to remember their dreams. And then they started doing it. Now, my mother, because she's sort of fear-based, her dreams are really linear, like, well, I was at the mall, My father's dreams were like, you know what? I was with my mother, and because had a very close relationship, and she was there, but I couldn't quite understand what she was saying. I was like, Dad, this is very real. I'll teach you how to do dream reentry. So now they
Wow, I
actually
love it.
remember their dreams. And so it's never too late.
Do you find with older people though, because as we age, we don't sleep that well, because everybody gets up to go to the bathroom 5 times. So it's harder to dream.
Well, my parents are good at getting up to go to the bathroom and then going back to sleep. I mean, it's kind of late and they're still like relaxing, sleeping in bed. So I think everybody's kind of different. I do think an attitude and openness helps. I tell people, if you tell yourself, oh, I don't dream. Oh, I don't dream. Oh, I'm never going to remember my dreams. That's going to make the energy not be there to help you remember your dreams. Even if it's not happening, tell yourself the opposite. I can remember my dreams. I do want to remember.
Why can't people remember? This is a good one. Why can't people remember their dreams?
Well, I do think the main reason is that you have to be in that deep enough sleep to remember it, and you have to trust it, because once you wake up, your mind starts going.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll wake up and it'll be so vivid, and you're like, oh, I'll never forget that. By the time you brush your teeth,
Oh, it's
you're
gone.
like, oh,
Yeah.
where is it? So I tell people, have a journal by your bed or a little audio, recorder. I tend not to do the audio because then I got to I got to type it or whatever, and just jot it down. And whenever you wake up, if you wake up that magic time for many people, like 3 a.m, something between about 3 to 4 a.m, to have that notebook there. Yeah, and just write it down, and don't judge it, because if you go back to it over time, because I've had dream journals forever, and you go back over time, oh my gosh, that totally makes sense. That's what was happening in my life at the time, and now I get it. Instead of just sort of foo-fooing it away and saying, well, that can't be right, or that's not meant for me. I think everything that comes to us is meant for us in some way, in terms of, something that's happening in our lives.
Right. So then what can we do to remember our dreams? The dream journal? I have books and books of dream journals that I did back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great first start, is to have a dream journal. And I tell people it can be just a notebook you'd use if you were going to school, or you can adorn it. Some people just like to, just take a regular notebook or journal and just make it your own, put words on there that really move you, that, like bliss, angel, connection, those are the kind of things that have that just keep that in mind. And then write whatever comes down, trust whatever comes to you. And then if they use the sort of what we call the dream lightning process, which we can talk about that a little bit if you want to as well, that will definitely help you to remember your dreams. Is that something I should share at this point?
What was that again? I'm sorry.
It's called the lightning dream work process. And this is something that
okay.
Robert Moss created. And we use it in our workshops. We use it when we work with people. And first thing you want to do is you wake up and you want to, all these things will help you remember your dreams. Give the dream a title. What would you call it? Were you down at the corner with your brother getting ice cream cone? Trip to the ice cream store. Okay. These can help trigger other memories. So give it a title. And then if you're working with someone, just tell the dream really simply and sort of in the present tense. Well, I got up, I was with my brother David. My favorite ice cream is strawberry. We went down to the, and then other bits and pieces of the dream can come through when you do that. And then there's some questions you can ask yourself when you first woke up. It's like what is your emotional response to the dream? Is it positive? Is it scary? Is it negative? Just so you have a sense about that. And then the other thing we always say is this something that could happen in waking life? Did I just dream something that could happen in waking life? And this could be connected to people you saw in the dreams, or situations that you're in, or even if you're thinking about something that, could maybe happen in the future. Could this happen in waking life? This can really just help the dreamer clarify the intentions of the dream.
Yeah.
Now, as a dream teacher or help people, I always give the feedback that I hear and that comes to me intuitively from talking to the person, by saying, if it were my dream, because it's not my, this is their dream, but if it were my dream, this is the hit I'm taking off of it, or these are the questions that I might want to ask as a follow-up, because you really want them to own it, to own the feelings, to own what sort of intuition or thing that they have. And then the final step is, we really want to honor the dreams. Otherwise, they just sit on a shelf. Dreams, they require some action. So how do you want to really honor the dream? Did you dream about your sister you haven't talked to in a long time? Pick the phone up and call your sister. Do you want to write a poem about it? Maybe you can draw. When we have our big workshops with all the teachers, and you get to do it in different ways. I was always kind of jealous of the people who could draw these immaculate, dream catchers or whatever. I'm not much of a drawer, but I sing. So I sing a song, or so you want to do that. And then the final thing you can do is what we call dream reentry. you can go back into the dream. So maybe you're in the dream and you see someone in the distance, but you can't really, see who it is from a distance. I get so excited when I'm talking about dreams. But you can go back into the dream.
She's passionate about her
Go
work.
back
Yeah.
into the dream even the next night?
Yeah, yeah. You want to go to sleep with intention.
Okay.
So,
That's cool. Yeah.
you're laying there and you're very quiet and peaceful, so you want no distractions around, and you just say, I want to go back into the dream with intention, and this is the question I have. I was sitting there with so and so, but I couldn't quite understand what they wanted to tell me, or I didn't get to stay there long enough, or someone will be in a dream, and let's say someone's chasing them. People are like, I'm scared, I'm afraid, I don't want, I'm like, go back into the dream. There's something somebody wants to tell you. You'll be safe. Turn around and see who's behind you and ask them the question that you have to ask. You also can take companions, so you can have dream guides that go with you. They can be like animals. They can be those who have crossed over. So I have a panther, and the panther, if I need to get someplace swiftly, they can get me there. And also if I'm nervous, their protection, it's a panther. And one of my favorite dream guides is a giraffe, because they have those long necks. And so when I need to look at a situation from a long view, from all perspectives, then I'm riding on the giraffe, because that long neck just gives me, the space to think about all the different things that I need to think about. And I have the eagle, and that might be because I'm from Alaska, and we have eagles, and they're just like fierce and amazing and wonderful.
Yeah.
It's like
I like
hawk.
what you said about honoring your dream. I just have a quick one. So there was somebody that I had been friends with, but we weren't friends. We were kind of severed.
Mhm.
But she came one night, this was years ago, came to me in a dream, and she was bleeding. You know what I mean? Bleeding, like, I don't know, but all I remember is that was the part that I remembered. So I woke up and I thought, oh my God. And of course, then I'm thinking, why did I dream about this person? Because she's not in my active consciousness if I'm thinking
Mhm.
about her. We're not in a relationship, friend. And I thought, I wonder if something happened to her. I mean, I trusted that and honored it. I called her up, and guess what? She
What?
died. She had something with her gallbladder had ruptured or something. I don't know.
Wow.
She had to go in for surgery, and she was bleeding out. She almost died. And I'm like,
Are you friends again?
no.
No. But Arlene, the thing that's interesting is there's the conscious and there's the subconscious. So there's stuff going on in the subconscious that we aren't always aware of on the
It's
surface.
on another level, but it's like I tapped into that wave, and it didn't happen but it was close proximity to happening. It wasn't like I was foretelling, like, like when somebody tells you, oh, be careful. Somebody just told me, be careful about your stairs that you're going. Well, now it's in my head. And I'm going, oh my God. I'm like
Yeah.
walking like.
But were you kind of glad you followed up on it and at least reached out to see what was going? Because there's messages, there's always messages.
Yeah, if people hear this where you're saying that honor part is to trust. This is where it comes to our own trust and our gut, that gut feeling. Yeah, you should trust. Yeah. What does it mean if you have, some people go to sleep and they have nightmares over and over again. They're afraid almost to sleep.
I know this is going to be crazy because I'm like, nightmares. And I say that because nightmares come when we're not paying attention to the message that are just coming through the regular dreams. If we can conquer and figure out what's connected to that nightmare, it's going to go away. So, what are the elements of what's happening in that nightmare? Is someone having a nightmare because they keep having this image or vision that like something's really wrong with their leg? Go to the doctor. You're being startled and scared awake by that nightmare on purpose. So I think nightmares I understand they're scary, but I think they're really powerful tools and an avenue for messages to, again, help you. I think dreams are just so, maybe someone wants a new job. What do you want in that job? You start with that visualization and then go to the dream in the dream space and just see yourself living that dream. And again, you don't have to do it alone. So we have animal dream guides, but also we have loved ones who have crossed over to the other side. My partner, who sadly passed away a few years ago in a tragic manner, is with me all the time, comes through dreams all the time. And it's so comforting. So he's not here for me to sit here right here and talk to him, but through the dream space, he comes with messages all the time, and otherwise he just pops up anyway. Me, I'm always talking to whoever will listen from the other side. So it's just like this. It's just this wonderful gift and tool that a lot of people, I just don't think they realize, what a gem it is to have this at your fingertips. And it's for everybody. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what kind of job you have. If you don't have a job, none of that matters. It's equal opportunity information and joy, I think, for people to engage in this amazing energy that we have working with our dreams.
I'm a psychic medium and I can read people all the time,
Yeah.
but I can't read for myself. But I will get prophetic dreams for myself
That you remember.
that I remember.
Yeah.
And I get what they call, it's sort of like lucid dreaming, but I have back to back where I go to sleep, even wake up and continue the dream.
Mm-hmm. And
Wow.
isn't lucid dreaming the best? It's like you're awake when this dream is happening.
And you
And
know
sometimes
you're
people,
dreaming.
and you know you're dreaming. So it can scare some people, right? Some people are like,
Yeah,
that's a
it's a
little weird.
drag
I don't know
too,
what that
because
is.
I realized Gerard Butler was just a dream.
Mm, mm,
I
And
had
mhm.
one night, I had this dream, and it was like it was a sky, I guess. And there was like a lot of movement, like fluttering. You know what I'm saying? Fluttering, fluttering. And like you could hear it, like the sound like bat wings, or you know, fluttering wings. And I looked up and I go, oh, birds, you know, like a lot of birds. I'm thinking, you know, Alfred Hitchcock, the movie Birds, but it was a lot of and then I'm looking and I go, oh, angel, because you know we're into angels. And I said, oh my God, I said angel wings, they're angels all over. Like the whole circle was all angels. And I'm like, oh, I was just so like filled up with joy. And I'm going, oh, and I'm like, oh, I'm here. Like I was part of the movement. And as soon
Yeah.
as I thought that, it was over. And I'm like, I want to go back there.
Well,
Like,
but don't you think sometimes I think when we have those kind of experiences that feel so blissful that we like might not want to come back? And I think the powers of be are like, yeah, you're not done yet. I mean,
oh,
I remember just,
maybe that was it.
yeah,
I don't even remember what. Well, I know it was when I still had the store, Lynette, and
yeah.
then this artist came in with her artwork that she did. And, you know, I would hang it up, you know, people want to buy it. And there was one picture and I went, oh, I went like this. I said, oh my God, that was my dream. It was a sky.
Hmm.
I have it. And it was all like the birds. You know how just simple, how kids make the birds like that? It was like
So
that.
you had a precognitive dream. Like you
That was
dreamed
that.
something that you know was
Yeah,
going to happen or has happened or and that but those that must have been amazing though because to me that's just like the angels are just telling you you are so loved, you are so cared
I
for.
was so, you know, I'm going to cry now because I still, I feel that.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
No, I
it's
thought I could, going back to it now. Oh God, I could feel, and I remember that feeling, and I said, "Oh, I
yeah.
love this," you
And then you
know.
can go back to it
Oh my
anytime. That's
God.
the other cool thing. Oh, it's
Yeah.
powerful, right? I mean,
And
those
then I
connections.
had dreams about fighting evil.
Mm,
I
mm-hmm.
would literally, I was raised by atheists, but long story short, I had some dreams almost back to back that an evil was trying to come upon me. And I would scream at it and command that it has to go away and used all my might. One time I was in a room with a bunch of people and we were on chairs and they said, you say the Lord's Prayer and you mean every word of it, or you're going to get smashed into the ceiling. So I'm sitting there concentrating, saying the Lord's Prayer out loud, and people, I can hear them screaming and getting smashed up into the ceiling. And I just concentrate, and I'm waking up and I'm saying the Lord's Prayer out loud, but I didn't know the Lord's Prayer in consciousness. I
Wow.
didn't know any prayer, actually.
So it sounds like right, some positive entity was coming through for that to happen. And that's too, because right, there's both there's a yin and yang to everything. So just like that power of white light, the power of white light, you know, and yeah, and keeping that and keeping balance is
Keep the
critically important.
balance. That's what this is about. Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's one
Um,
thing that dreams can do. It can help you to have a balanced life because it's information, it's power, you know, and
yeah,
that can help you to. Sure, we have to acknowledge the challenges and the darker side, but I like the light. I
I
like
bet.
living in the
Yeah.
light as much as possible, surrounding myself in the power of it. I remember when I first started doing Reiki and got certified, I worked on the first person and I woke up the next day and my shoulder was just killing me. Like, what is going on with my shoulder? Well, because I moved the pain out of their shoulder, put it into mine,
Isn't that
didn't balance myself first, didn't
isn't
surround
that
myself with
true,
white
Lynette?
light,
When we
you know?
start doing the energy work with people, because we want to, you know, in our hearts, we want to take it away, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of what they call, you know, so-called, we're all healers, but healers, whatever, you want to help. And they don't know, you don't know enough to to clear yourself. And I always say,
Right.
use Epsom salt, do do whatever you have to do to
Because we're
wash it.
sensitive, we're
Yeah.
all sensitive souls here, and you
Yeah.
just want to help people, just suck it in, but it can be
Yeah.
their own demise if we don't remember to,
Because as you give anything, we have to receive it back. It's a give and a take and a give and a take. Like,
Yeah.
Linda used to work also, and I worked, volunteered at hospice, and people go, how could
Me
you do
too.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And to me, it was a blessing and an honor to be in that space. And I felt as
Yes.
I was giving, I was receiving all the pot back and forth, and it was
Yeah.
very
It's
uplifting.
not for everybody, right? I really enjoyed being a hospice volunteer, and I'll probably do it again soon when I retire. But some people are like, no, and I'm like, I'm not afraid. It's a
No,
cycle.
I'm not, well,
It's
there's no
just,
such thing as death. And so that's what we were discussing. So dreams can be related to what's going on in your life now.
I think they all are. I think to me, I'm like, why would that dream come to me if it doesn't have something to do with something I'm going through, something I might be going through, something I'm encountering with somebody else? So to me, it's always some kind of lesson in it. Okay, I had this dream for a reason. Now I get to dissect it and sort of figure out what the reason is, or if it's for me. Because sometimes I'll have a dream or get messages that are for other people, and there are people who, I can't just call up anybody because people will think I'm crazy. I mean, I know I'm not, but there are people
Oh,
certainly
aren't
I'll
you
get them.
though?
Well, in a good way,
Aren't
maybe
we
in a good
all?
way. But
Well,
things
cray cray.
happen, you guys, right? Whether it's in a dream or something else. Like one of my favorite stories, this was actually, I was doing, it wasn't a dream. Part of it was a dream, but I did an angel reading for somebody. And I said, I'm not a medium. I don't say I'm a medium, but sometimes people come through. And I said, this guy came through. I think it's your father. And he said, head up and, chin up and shoulders back. And her face just got like white because she used to be a Marine. She goes, no one would know that. My father always told me, chin up and shoulders back. So things like that happen,
Wow.
dream space, whatever. And I'm like, I don't question it. I don't try to convince anybody else of it. Everyone's on their own journey. So it's not my
Yeah.
job to make you believe in dreams or, but
No.
I can be a conduit as Linda and Arlene, both of you guys, to be helpful to people who are open to it, and,
Yeah.
try to help them have as good of experience as they can while
Well,
we're here on the earth plane.
do you feel like with the dream, at least I know myself, like sometimes when I wake up and I try to interpret what I was dreaming, that it gets mixed in. And especially, I think what you're doing late at night before you go to sleep is kind of like a primer. You're laying the foundation. So if you're on your computer all the time, or you're watching a horror movie and then go to sleep, that I feel has filtered into my dream
It can impact
aspects
it,
of it. Do
I
you
don't know
see
about the
that,
pizza.
Linda?
Yeah.
Do you feel that? Has
Yes.
that happened to you?
Yeah.
Is that
Mm-hmm.
parts of it, part of it is reality, or the dream reality of what you're living, but then it's like some crazy thing, and I go, oh, wait a minute, that was in that movie.
Right.
All
So
right.
it's the ability to discern it, right? So
Exactly.
that you know the
Yeah.
difference. But
And
yeah,
how about reoccurring dreams, like going back to the place you grew up in? I'm always at my old house that we lived in.
yeah, sometimes good memories do that. Sometimes it's like, well, maybe I need to go take a visit there. Or people have the deja vu dreams, right? I've never been to Italy, but
Oh,
now
wow.
for
Yeah.
me that also goes back in because I believe in reincarnation as well. So, you know, what's in that tidbit? Okay, but that house keeps coming up. Is there a chance for me to go back? Is there something about the energy there, or is there something new and spectacular that wasn't there before that I need to, because it might just keep coming back to us, right? If we don't have action around it.
I used to have the school dream. I think a lot of people do. When you're well, I went to, Catholic parochial school. So, oh my God, if you weren't in class at this, you got detention. But I was like going down the hall, to your lockers, those metal lockers and I can't remember my code, my thing to unlock. You go 3 ways this way, 2 ways this way. And I'm like, and I start panicking. And then I don't know which room I'm going to. Oh my
Well,
God.
sometimes in waking life, if that happens, it's like, is there something in our waking life we don't have control of? So sometimes if people have a dream and their hair is falling out or their teeth are falling out, what do I not have control of in my waking life? And then if you can figure out what that is, it's going to help those dreams fade away.
I've had dreams where my hair and teeth were falling out.
Yeah. But then we have to do the homework of like going, oh, we can say, oh, that's weird, and leave it alone. Or we can say, okay,
I hate to say this one, but I used to have bathroom dreams. What the
oh
heck is
yeah.
that all about?
Yeah. Well, that can be controlled too. Like people have dreams like the toilet's overflowing and they can't make it stop.
Yes.
What's happening in your life that you don't want to happen and you can't make it stop?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
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 I go like, I
Now,
really have to, yeah.
For years now, I've had reoccurring dreams about Paul McCartney. And every time he's with me, it's like we've been together forever. His wife even came to me 2 weeks before she died, and nobody knew she was getting ready to die. And she told me, I'm getting ready to die. And she said, can you do me a favor? Can you take care of Paul for me and the kids? And I was like, oh, hell yeah.
I can do
And
that. Yeah.
but I've even had him stop and get me to take me to one of his concerts, and it's so real. And yet I don't
Gosh, you
know why.
guys,
Maybe he's a past life energy for him.
probably a past life. And I just think that's, like, I also think we're living on parallel planes at the same time, but that's yet another conversation.
We'll
So,
do
Right.
and
that
it just,
again, Lynette.
and it just all feels so, it's just real to me. All these other vibrational levels of existence are as real as us sitting here talking in real time or touching a desk, right? But some people, if they can't, with our senses, see it, feel it, smell, in
It's
what
not
we're
real.
sort of trained in this society we live in, it's not real. But it's life is so much richer because it's real on all these different planes and levels, and it's playful and fun, and we can learn a lot from it, and keeps
Right.
life from being boring if we're just kind of stuck in the human.
I want to touch on something that happened for me, and this was very profound, and I think it's important for people to hear because a lot of times we don't have resolve with our family relationships, friends. It could be whatever, any relationship, and people that have crossed over, and then we think, well, it's too late because, and then everybody goes through life saying, "Oh my God, I wish I had, I wish, I wish, I wish," and this is an avenue of ways of that happening. I mean, I did some healing work around my own situation with my father, and he used to come to, not very often, he would come to me in a dream. It wasn't very pleasant. And I would say to him, and I was very angry at him. I was 18 when he passed away, and he happened to be alcohol. It was hard, very dysfunctional family. And I would say to him in the dream, and it would be like I always had parties. So there would be a house full of people, and I would look, and he'd be sitting on the couch. I'd walk in, I'd go like this, "What are you doing here?" I'd go, "What are you doing here?" And I go, and then I would say, "And you're dead. You're not supposed to be here." And then he would like disappear. And
Yeah.
I'd wake up and think, I would get really, I'd be like, oh my God. And I was really older. I thought I had processed psychologically, had went through the levels of, he was a product of his environment and he did the best he could do. You know what I mean? We do that because we get older and you analyze and you go through your therapy and I said, okay. But then in my heart, I go, wow, I really didn't let go of that. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
something there.
Right.
So at one point I did go actually to his graveside and I did some very quick work, and that's another topic. But anyways, then I was at a workshop I was going to, and it was supposed to be, it was on ISIS. I don't even know why the heck I was there, but whatever. I went, I go to sleep that night at the, we get there because it was in New Hampshire someplace. So we're sleeping, and the next day we're going to the workshop. I go to sleep and I had this profound dream, and he came in the dream. He looked beautiful. He was in, oh, I'm gonna cry. This is making me cry today. Oh my God. He was in a three-piece suit with a top coat, because he used to get dressed up when he would go to church on Sunday. And I went running up to him. It was like on the Milford Green, Lynette. And I went running up and I hugged him, and I could feel the hug. I could I could actually feel it. And I said, Daddy, Daddy, I said, you're here. I said, you look so good. I don't even think he talked to me really, but it was just that. And I woke up and I'm like, and I said, that's what this weekend was for. I got away from wherever I was and I got here, and and I don't care what the rest of the weekend was because this is what it was for. So what I want to share with people also to look at, there's healing during that takes place in our dream state. And as you said, you still connect with your loved one, Rick that passed on, and he comes to you, and we could do this.
I mean, in my experience, when they come in the dream space, they generally look healthy, look younger. The energy they have isn't, if they were like mean or distressed or sick in some way, that's generally not what's happening on on the other side, where there's light and bliss and higher vibration, and and they want healing. So the time that you saw him and you were yelling like, "Why are you here? Go away!" Yes, he's going to go. They don't want to cause any more turmoil. They're generally, want forgiveness for whatever they've done, and want peace and light for you on the side, and love to be a guide for you, right? Through the dream space or otherwise. And Linda may know more about this than me with her, deep skills as a medium. But yeah, the dream space is like this sort of playground
I
of
love to go to
learning, but
sleep and I love to dream. Rarely have I had a nightmare,
yeah, yeah. And
but
there are
it's
some
usually
that are so
because I
profound.
forgot.
There's
Yeah,
a
it's usually
sometimes,
something
yeah.
I forgot or you let, where's my
Hmm.
purse, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Or once in a while you'll have one that's so profound that you don't forget it.
Yeah.
Even if you do get up and brush your teeth or do whatever. But yeah, they say like if in the dream people were talking, they say that within 3 minutes of waking up, because our mind starts going and then we
Oh
start
yeah,
doing
I
our day.
found that. I said I
It's
need to
gone.
remember and I forget.
Yeah. So it's like, and it feels so real and profound that you're like, oh, there's no way I'm going to forget it. But once our human mind starts ticking away at everything we got to do on our to-do list that day,
I had a Lhasa poodle that I had to put down. He was 13. I felt terrible about putting him down. He was so sick where he couldn't walk anymore. He was dragging his legs. And so I had a dream that the dog's name was Moochie. And I was like, oh my God, Moochie, it's you. And he was young again. He was the cutest little puppy. And I picked him up. I could smell him. It was him. And I'm hugging him and go, oh my God. Then I remembered, oh my gosh, you're dead. And I see this like little pink collar on him. And I'm looking, I'm like, where'd you get that pink collar? You're a boy. And then I wake up, right? Well, then I had bought a Labradoodle in Oklahoma and it was a girl. That's probably
He came back through.
Moochie was telling me
He
that the
came
next
back
dog
through.
was no, but here's the deal. When I brought Lulu lived in another house. I bought this house in 2016. And when I brought Lulu in, my new dog, I was introducing her to the house and I sit on the couch. Here comes Moochie down the hallway in spirit form. I I was like, oh my God, Moochie, meet your sister. And then I realized, oh my God, you're dead. And boom, it wasn't a dream. I had a vision.
Yeah, that
So
is amazing. And then in dreams, yes, we can like, let's say somebody's favorite flower was a rose.
yeah,
You're in the dream space, but you're smelling the rose, or you're smelling a cigar, or it's just that there's so many signs that in the dreams, I think to help them
right.
help
Had a
us
My
realize
my
this
dog,
connection.
Linda, my dog I had a Wheaten Terrier, and my ex and my daughter actually went and they had him put down. He had some issues, but I was working and they were taking him to the vet, and I thought they were taking him to be, just looked at, right? And they come in and they go, well, we have something to tell you. And I said, what? And they said, Higgins isn't here. And I go, well, what do you mean he isn't here? And they put him down without letting me know. And I was like, I was so crushed. And but he came to me in a dream. And he came to me and he goes, don't be sorry. Like we hear from people, don't be sorry for me. Look at me. And he was in the field. And like you said, he was a puppy and
and he was running.
he was springing up and down like a rabbit. He was like up, boing, 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 boing. Oh my God, it was the funniest thing.
Yeah,
And then I had peace with it.
right.
Yeah.
Do
And
you
you can have
actually
a conversation anytime. So
do readings for other people
I
or
do. Hmm.
so does Arlene have everything to
Yeah,
be
we're
an
Yeah,
gonna
assistant?
add, so I guess,
they can go
that
to my
you
website.
want to add anything
I'm
else?
definitely making an appointment.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So
Um,
www.positivebliss.com.
we're gonna,
Okay.
yeah, and we'll put it down below, folks. So please subscribe to our channel.
Yes, it's a great channel. Please
Watch,
subscribe.
listen, and this is so exciting. And Lynette, will you come back again?
Of course. I'd love to.
And
Yes.
have you written any books or anything?
I have. I have. I wrote a book called The 10 B's of Positivity, 10 Steps to a More Positive Way of Living. Marble House Editions in New York published it. And it started with me just like writing down, because I journal, things I was doing to live a positive life. Be open-minded, be honest, be spiritual, be positive. And then someone said, why don't you just make that into a book? Because I spent so much time, because I'm a positivologist. So I spent so much time, family, friends, strangers on the airplane. Don't sit next to me on a plane, because if you're trying to sleep, it's probably not going to work. Just talking about people about how to live a positive life. And so that's how the book happened. And since then I've outlined, I had a vision and a dream about 10 books in total, the 10 B's, so the 10 B's of positive living, positive relationship, positive travel. First one's published, the second one's written. I'm retiring in a couple months, and so I can spend more time doing
Girl, that's what I'm talking.
all sorts of positivity things that I want to do. So yeah, and that's on the website. People can either, get an e-copy or they can purchase it on Amazon and other places. So yeah, I just think, there's a lot of tragedy and trauma, and I don't try to pretend it's not out there in the world, but talking about the balance, right? Your show's all about
Yeah,
balance. It's like
it's all
acknowledge
about
it,
the
but
balance.
I don't like how it feels if I just go in a black hole and stay there. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
this is happening, but where's some light? Where can I spread some light or get some light from people like you who are doing good work in the world, and try to make the most of, because you never know what's going to happen day to day. And as I get older, my parents, I mean, I'm so lucky to have my parents who are 90 and 91 still with us.
that's
Um,
fantastic.
it's
And that's
like,
a blessing. They're blessed to have you because they live with you part of
yeah, yes,
the
we
time.
just started
So,
doing that. And to
you
me,
know, a
this
lot
is the
of,
best. You talk about purpose in life. I've done a lot of things, but the thing I felt the most engaged in terms of purpose is being able at their stage in their life and my stage of their life for us to be together, and that we like each other, we enjoy each other's company. I have a brother 20 minutes away. So I'm
Fantastic.
excited about this next chapter, and dreams will certainly continue to be a big part of this.
Yeah, that's
it's a
great. Is
blessing.
Moss still alive
Oh
or?
yeah.
Okay.
And now he's like all over the world doing this work.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Wonderful.
look on his website every so often. I'm like, oh, now he's over in this country. Now he's over in that
But do
country.
you actually do dream interpretation?
Yeah, so I do sessions with people where they tell me what their dreams are, and I
Okay.
help them. I share what my interpretation is of it based on my knowledge and training and intuition, but I work with them to answer the questions, some of the ones we just talked about and others that come up, to help them get a clear understanding of their dreams and just feel more empowered by it versus like not. I feel powerless. I had a dream. I don't know what it means, or I'm afraid of it, or
What do you think of those dream dictionaries that have?
well, I think people need to use their own intuition. It's just like they have these descriptions. It's just like, and Arlene might say this, like when you're doing an angel reading, I do different kinds. I do use angel cards. So I might do a reading for three people and all three of them pull the child card. For one person, it might mean they're going to have a child. For another person, it means they need to be more childlike. So I think people need to connect with their own meaning and feeling, because there's a zillion of these books out there, and so it's kind of not. I'm like, well, it's not me to judge what is or what isn't. But there are some things that you find that are pretty common amongst everybody, like your teeth falling out.
Yeah,
Generally, that means something's not in control. What do I need it to be?
it was a
Um,
bad time in my life too. It was back in the 80s, and I can see why I was dreaming that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I've had the dreams also, and I don't know if you guys have, where I've woken up, say it was a very profound dream, but I was crying in the dream, and I've woken up with tears, like I was.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Have you had that where you're
Mhm.
actually
Yeah,
crying,
I've
Yeah.
had that.
or you feel your heart, you know what I mean? You get, or you can't, do
Yeah.
that type of thing.
I've been running in a dream. When I come back, and maybe I'm not running away from something, but just running. When I wake up, I literally feel like my legs feel tired, like I've been running. I mean, I
Like
just
you've been
think
running.
we cross over those realms and levels and vibrations, and we
So
really live on these
so we'll
other.
talk a little bit about this. So when you're dreaming, also when we go to sleep, as the three of us now, we leave our bodies.
Yes,
Okay, people
Yeah.
can't be so duh, and our
yes,
body slows down so it could heal. Everything
yeah.
slows down. So have you been where you're coming back in to wake up in the morning and you're sort of awake, but you can't move, you're frozen because you haven't integrated in.
Yeah, and I remember the first time that my spiritual entity was leaving my physical body, and I remember it was sort of starting at my head, and I was like awake. I mean, I could feel it happening. And I remember it got to my feet, and I was like a little bit of trepidation. I'm like, oh, I'm kind of scared, and I could feel it like pushing. I was like, no, 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 no. I want to do it. I want to do it. And then it literally like happened. And I was with a couple of girlfriends. We were visiting some friends in another state, and I remember going to bed. The window was closed, the door was closed. But then when this happened, the window was open, the door, and the person across the hall, my friend who was a skeptic, had the exact same experience. She's a believer now,
Yeah.
you know. And I've had an experience where I've left, and it's felt so blissful that I didn't want to come back. And then the message was like,
Wow.
you have to come back. You're
Well,
not
I
done
think
yet.
that happens to a lot of people. Like I
Yeah.
remember my ex telling me, he goes, he woke up in the morning, he goes, and he was like a little frightened, and he goes, I was leaving, and he said, I knew if I went, I wasn't coming back. So it
Wow.
scared him. Yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
people that have been pretty insightful. And my first one, this was before I was open to everything. My first one, he would sit in his, Barca lounger, and well, I always thought he was a little cray cray anyways, but he'd wake up, he goes, why? I was just in Hawaii, I'm going, yeah, well, take the trip. I mean,
I've done that in the Dreamspace though. I've left and gone to Greece and other places. And
Wow.
This is interesting also, and I read up on this. They said people that say have had are incapacitated, they can't move their muscles or anything. They've actually done this test with people where they have them lying in bed and they have them mentally thinking that they were running or walking, and they've actually measured their muscle tone and they've built up their muscle from doing that.
yeah, because
I
they're
try to do that
existing.
every night. Okay, I'm going to bed
I'm
fat
running.
and I'm gonna wake up thin. Yeah,
Arlene, you're perfect the way you are.
it hasn't worked this far.
Yeah, it's quite the
I
journey
still
though.
want to
for
do
sure.
like Christ did. I want to change the water to wine.
Oh, can I don't like to taste the alcohol. Can I change the water to root beer? I really like root
Sure,
beer.
you could change it. Change
Yeah,
it.
there you go.
But you know what?
I
One
like
thing,
water.
and
Yeah.
we laugh about it, but there is that saying in the Bible. What did Christ say to, or God said to the mountain, move, and the mountain moved.
Yeah.
And that is, and going back to, just end with this, doing the hospice, I remember walking in a room once with a patient and I'm looking at them and I swear to God, I saw myself like this with my arm out like this. And it said, in my head, it said, Lazarus, rise from the dead, Lazarus, rise. And I'm going, what the heck's wrong with you? Are you crazy? What? Lazarus.
Like, what message is this? Yeah.
But it's there for us. We don't believe that.
And you're open. That's the main message for people. Just be open,
Yeah.
to what you normally believe is, the way things have to happen, because there's a whole
Well,
other world out there.
That's what this channel is about also. It's empowering everyone. It's to
Yeah.
see the light in everybody, that we lift each other up. We don't step on each other. There's
Yeah.
enough out. It's all there for us. It's all there.
I have to thank both of you for doing this kind of show, because I think people can really benefit from it,
So maybe the next time we hook up, can you even get into how past lives can affect dreams?
Yeah.
I know that I've had a couple of past lives that I know. Even one where I was a cowboy running from a native and he stabbed me in the back and I have issues with my back right at that spot.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But then I came back into this world as part native. I'm a Comanche Indian.
And I believe we choose to come back. And as hard as it is when we have difficult situations, people are like, why did I choose that parent? Well, there's something you need to learn. Something you need
It
to
was
learn from
something
that
we were
parent.
supposed to do.
Yeah.
They say we come back with our close circle or something that you have to work out.
And things to learn, right? So for some reason, I have the patience of Job. I have no idea why. I'm patient beyond any kind of, makes no sense. But there's other things that I need to learn, right? I think some things in past lives we learn and we get to live that in whatever life we've chosen, but there's other things we have to learn.
I remember having a session with somebody. He's a dowser, and dowsing is like, dowsing's using your pendulum, right? Dowsing goes back to where they used to use the two pieces of wood to find water and it would go like that and then they would come together.
Yeah.
So in any event, so I asked him, I said, well, why did I end up with these people?
Why me?
He had an interesting take on it. He said, because you yourself and your being, you were missing, he looked at it as a tone. He said, you were missing some tones, a couple of tones. And he said, they had the tones
that you needed,
like the missing puzzle piece. So you needed to be with them to experience that, to acquire or look at and gain that. I've
never heard of that.
It was, I know, I don't know. I just listened and I thought, another interesting tidbit to put in. Who knows?
Yeah. Lots of those in our lives for sure.
So Lynette, thank you, dear, for taking the time.
Thank you both.
It's so good to see you. The last time I saw you were packing up here in Connecticut to leave. So one day I'll get out there. We'll make a trip out there.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're both welcome. We have a lovely guest room.
Sedona. Yeah.
Nice and warm, and yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
girlfriend, I always stay in the hotel because I can afford it now. Because I like my own space, my own bathroom.
Oh, there you go. There's
But
something
I'll
to be
come
said for
see
that
you
too.
and
You
take
can
you
come
out to
visit.
eat.
Yeah,
I'll take you out to eat. I was just going to tell you, I have some friends named Julie and Dennis, and they live in Prescott, Arizona, and they just sent me a picture of snow.
Yeah, Prescott, Flagstaff, there are areas of Arizona where there's snow, and I purposely moved someplace where I knew there wasn't going to be any
snow there. Well, my former sister-in-law lives there. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, no, and I'm in Sun City, I love the name, by the way, Sun City. And yeah, it doesn't snow here. We had rain today, and that was a big deal because we need rain. We don't
Yeah,
even get that very often, but I have so much snow in my life. I'm like, if I never see
you're
another
done.
snowflake,
You're
I'll be
done.
good. Yep. Yeah. But it's the funny thing too. This is an aside. When I was in Connecticut, I had so many people saying, "Oh, I'm going to come visit." A fraction of the people came to visit. Since I moved to Arizona, people are coming left and right.
There you go. A lot of people are moving to Arizona.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of people. So I'm like, and I tell people, come on down, more than
Come
welcome.
on down.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it was great to
again,
see you, Arlene, and nice to
thank
meet
you
you, Linda. I
too.
knew of
Nice to
your
meet
work, but
you,
it's really
honey.
Well,
nice to
you'll
meet
be
you.
I'm
back. We'll
looking
have you
for it.
back.
Well, I'm making an appointment for with the interpretations because I've got some juicy ones I can't say on air.
Oh, okay.
She
Yeah,
wants her love men's she say her men's
On menses.
well, it'll be my pleasure.
So thank you. And again, everybody, watch, listen, subscribe, and then look, we'll have all Lynette's information down below. We'll have Victor put it
Yeah.
up for us. And as always, Linda,
I don't have it written down, so you'll have to.
remember to be the change you want to see.
Okay, remember to be the change you
From
wanna
our
see.
hearts to yours, always in total love, balance, peace, and joy. And remember, honor yourself, love yourself. It all starts here. We're all on the same page and planet, and just love. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Hi, babies.
Bye.
Bye-bye.